When you buy an apple at the local store, and when you're swiping your card for gas, you are participating in the exact same market. The prices of both those items are silently tied to a dark, unrefined liquid pumped from deep underground. Gasoline gets most of the attention, but crude oil is quietly hiding everywhere else too. It is the raw material used to heat homes, manufacture the plastics in our devices, create the fertilizers that grow our food, and power the cargo ships that move it all around the world. Because it touches almost every physical good we interact with, the baseline math of our economy is staggering. To function properly, the modern world requires exactly 100 million barrels of crude oil to flow through its pipelines and refineries every single day. Despite how predictably we consume it, the price moves like a roller coaster. In just the last few years, a single barrel has swung from $40 all the way up to $120. To understand those wild swings, it helps to imagine the global economy as a giant, thirsty machine, permanently hooked up to an intricate planetary plumbing system. In a normal market, if people suddenly want to buy more smartphones or sneakers, a factory can usually add an extra shift and make more. Crude oil does not work that way. We are dealing with a physical resource trapped miles beneath the earth. The extreme price swings we see at the gas pump happen because this plumbing is incredibly rigid. Because the system can't stretch or bend to meet a crisis, the price is the only thing left that can move, and it usually moves with a violent snap. Think of the global oil supply as a giant, heavily rusted faucet. It takes enormous effort to turn, and the flow cannot be increased quickly, no matter how badly you need a drink. In reality, that rust is time and money. It takes 5 to 10 years and billions of dollars in capital investment to find a new oil field, build a massive drilling rig out in the middle of the ocean, and finally bring a new well online. On the other end of the pipe, global demand acts like an unpluggable drain. If oil prices shoot up on a Tuesday, a long-haul truck driver cannot instantly replace their rig with an electric vehicle on a Wednesday. Factories cannot swap out their heavy machinery overnight. The world has to keep buying oil, even when it hurts. Look at this animated diagram of a water tank representing our oil market. The supply pipe flowing in and the drain flowing out are perfectly balanced. But because the faucet cannot easily open wider and the drain refuses to close, even a tiny 2% drop in supply causes the tank's water level to fall violently. When buyers see that tank emptying, panic sets in. Refineries and shipping companies realize there isn't enough to go around, and they start aggressively outbidding each other to secure whatever oil is left. Because the physical pipes and pumps of the system are completely rigid, a minor, temporary hiccup in supply inevitably translates into a massive financial explosion. Naturally, someone has to try and manage this delicate plumbing. That role is mostly played by a group called the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, better known as OPEC. OPEC is a formal coalition of oil-producing nations. Together, the group controls roughly 30% of all global crude production, and they sit on nearly 75% of the world's proven underground reserves. The group holds meetings to decide exactly how much oil each member is allowed to pump out. By raising or lowering these production quotas, they can directly manipulate the market. Their decisions dictate the numbers you see for Brent crude and WTI crude, which are simply the global and U.S. price tags used for trading oil. But managing a global cartel is difficult. Member countries frequently cheat on their assigned quotas, secretly pumping extra oil to maximize their own cash flow. But because of internal self-interest and constant rule-breaking, their grip on the faucet is always prone to slipping. Oil prices reflect today's physical, they also reflect tomorrow's anxieties. Every barrel effectively carries a fear tax, a price hike triggered by the mere possibility of a future conflict or disruption. The Middle East is the most heavily scrutinized region on Earth for this exact reason. Because countries like Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and Iran hold so much of the global supply, even a simple rumor of conflict there instantly adds 10 to 30% to the cost of every single barrel. That fear is entirely justified by history. When a major oil-producing region experiences severe political instability, the global market suffers. During the 1979 revolution in Iran, the sudden loss of their exports caused global oil prices to double almost overnight. And the map of risk extends well beyond the Middle East. Russia alone produces roughly 11% of the global supply. When nations face heavy economic sanctions or geopolitical isolation, Millions of barrels of daily supply are immediately constrained. Ultimately, human sentiment dictates the market. Crude oil pricing takes physical supply and demand and wraps it in a highly volatile game of global anxiety. Knowing how fragile this system is, major governments don't leave their economies to chance. They maintain a massive emergency stash of oil, a hidden safety net designed to be used only when the world's plumbing starts to fail. The United States alone keeps about 400 million barrels in these underground reserves. When a true crisis hits and prices spike dangerously high, the government can flood the market with these backup barrels to forcibly cool the prices back down. Governments go to these lengths because failing to intervene causes severe domestic pain. During the 1970s supply shocks, citizens faced strict rationing and lines stretching around the block just to get enough fuel to drive to work. An uncontrolled oil spike directly destroys consumer purchasing power. Storing billions of dollars of backup oil is simply the insurance policy required to protect citizens from sudden economic ruin. Which brings us right back to your local grocery store. Crude oil is the first domino in our economy. When the cost of a barrel jumps, the cost to manufacture plastic packaging goes up, the cost of diesel for delivery trucks goes up, and you end up paying higher prices for basic food. We are slowly attempting to change this dynamic. The worldwide push toward renewable energy and electric vehicles is effectively a massive, decades-long project to build a completely new global plumbing system from scratch. But that transition will take 20 to 30 years to complete. In the meantime, energy companies are looking at this changing future and hesitating to invest billions of dollars into drilling new oil wells today. That lack of investment makes our old, rusty supply faucet even harder to turn right now. Someday, our economy might break its reliance on underground reservoirs, but until that new plumbing system is fully built, every price tag in our daily lives remains at the mercy of the slow-turning, highly sensitive faucet of crude oil.